Back guys, my friends. Now instead of console logging the data right here, let's actually register the user. So how we're gonna do that is simply, first of all, let me show you what we have to do. We have to go back to our features folder and then the user slice right here. And here we're gonna create our function that goes to the backend and everything. So what we will do right here is we're gonna go export and then const, and let's create a function that is called register user. We're gonna need Axios for this one, so you have to add it too. So you're gonna go yarn add and then Axios, because it's, using Axios, everyone knows what it is. It's just simply to send HTTP requests somewhere, or like an API code, and do whatever you want with it. So, and here what we need to do is to create an asynchronous thunk. Okay, and this is simply gonna do, so let's name it, for example auth, then /register. I just said this is just a naming right here, and here we will create an asynchronous function that takes some values here, and then also it takes reject with value. Reject with value is simply when we have an error we can run this, so reject with value. And then simply what we have to do right here is to create our normal function. So what is the error here? Okay, so sorry, we've done that. So we have asynchronous, and then right here we'll just simply do what we already done there, and we will have a try catch right here. So try catch block, and then when we have an error right here, what we have to do is return, and then we will use this reject with values. This is simply when we have an error, so we're gonna return that, and we will return the error inside. So the error exists in the error.response.data.error.message. Okay, so if we have an error, we send in it in the error.message. So to get access to that, you have to go to the error, then the response you got, then you have to go inside the data. So this is like when you get a response back, it's in the data, and if you have an error, it's going to be in the error object and then the message, as we send in from the backend the error inside of it to the message. So this is how you do that. So try right here, we're gonna go const, and we will extract directly the data. I don't want to get the response here when I can actually just directly get the data. Okay, and I'm gonna use await. So now we have to send a request, because we're gonna go Axios, and then we will go post request to where? To our API endpoint, which is our backend right here. Let me just make sure it's running. So let me see if it's running. So it is running. Okay, so what we have to do is to send a request to it. So we already know the URL. So what you have to do, follow me, what you have to do is you're gonna go and create a .env file. So you have to go and create a .env file right here in the main routes, and then you'll create a variable that is called React app. It should start with React app, or it's not gonna work. It must start with React app, and then you call it whatever. I'm gonna call it API endpoint, and then I will have HTTP localhost 8000 /API /version1. And then you have to restart your server, your application. You have to restart it for it to work. So this means this is our URL to the backend. So I actually can go right here and define. So I can go, for example, const, and I will go auth, and then let me actually have it this way, auth, and then endpoint, and this endpoint is gonna be so I can just go use backticks here, and I'm gonna go process.env.react-app endpoint, and I'm gonna go /auth. Okay, because we know this is the API link, or like you can see it's URL, but if you want to go to the auth, we go /auth. Okay, so this is all I'm trying to do here, because I know the register for the user, we're gonna have register, login, and all they're gonna be in this auth endpoint. So I'm gonna take this auth endpoint right here, and in the post request I can actually go and send a request there. So to do that, I can use also backticks here, and then I'm gonna use this one, the auth endpoint, and it's gonna be /register. So I feel like this is pretty simple right here, and then we'll spread the values that we will get here, and that's it. So after the request, we just have to return the data. Okay, and the reason for it we're doing it here, because I can actually, after I do all of this, after I get the data that I get, which is the user, like if you remember when we register, we get these informations, we get an access token, we get a user. So all this information, we get it back from the backend. So all these informations, I can actually take this and then simply like add it to the store, to the Redux store directly without even having to do it here or dispatching action here. So how to do that? It's simply you have to go down. So we have this reducers right here. So after these reducers, we have to create something that is called the extra reducers. So after here, I will go extra reducers. And for this extra reducers, it takes a builder. So builder, and then simply inside of here, we're just gonna go builder, and then we'll add few cases. So add case, and the first case is gonna be for the register user function, of course, and then it's gonna be when it's pending, when it's in the loading state. So when we send in a request, so it's still working. And then, so pending, we have a state and action. And what we're not gonna need the action, but I can now go to the state, then I will go to status. So this status that I have right here, and this is where we're gonna need it. So now I can do that, and I can make it loading. You see, so now when I submit something in the form, I can actually get access to that status. If it's loading, I know now it's pending. So everything, I'm sending a request and it's still, in the treatment process. So this is what I'm trying to tell you. And this is just beautiful. You see how this idea works? So I can go like here and also add another case. And for this case is gonna be for the register user. And then simply we're gonna go when it's fulfilled. That means everything went alright. Dot fulfilled, and you can see it here. We're gonna have the state and then also the action. Let's see what I can do here. So here I can actually go to the state, then status, and I will make it succeeded. So I'm just trying to make it right. Succeeded, that's the first thing. And then I'm gonna go to the state.user, and what I'm gonna make it, so I'm gonna make it the data that I get back from the backend. So I can actually do that, but it seems like I have to, because if you remember in the right here, we have the token inside this user. And when we send from the backend, we send the access token alone. So this is simply, maybe I can go back to the backend. So I'm just gonna go back to my backend and actually change that. So you're gonna go to your controllers, then auth controller, and then right here. So maybe this is better. When we return, instead of returning the access token there, I can actually add it here. So the access token here. Okay, and I can do the same when it's login. So I can go here instead of doing it here. I can add this at the end here. So because I'm gonna get the user back directly. And here I can do that inside the user like that. So I actually made a change here. So I have to go on commit and simply small update for auth controllers, and then I will commit. So sorry, I have to actually make what changes I made. I gotta add them and then commit. And you can actually just, commit and push right here. I prefer just to go right here. And then I go get push. And then it's gonna update that. Even if I didn't show you in a video that I'm updating something, I will actually always push to GitHub and you can see the commit. So now that we've done that, I actually can go back now. So what we're gonna get in the action, simply, we're gonna get a payload. So I can go to that action and then the payload. And you remember what we're sending back. We're sending a user here, okay? So I can actually access that user and apply the values in it for our user in the Redux store. So I can go .payload.user. So now the user that I have here, the informations are gonna be this informations inside the user. And even if you wanna have the access token alone and then add it to the user, that's also simple to do, so it's nothing hard. I'm just trying to make it the same. And now what I can do is actually go and add another case, and this is simply when we have an error. So register.rejected. So when we have an error, we also have the state and then also have an action here. So what do we have to do here? So when it's rejected, I can go to the status state.status, and I can actually make it failed, as it's actually failed. And then under that, I will go to my state.error, and now I have to show the error. So the error is going to be in the action dot payload. Okay, because if you remember, we don't have to go to like, for example, response, data, etc., because we use this rejects with value. That means when I have an error, I throw it, but I send in the payload. This is going to be the payload. It's going to be the error dot response dot data dot error dot message. So we're going to get the error directly there. And this is the beautiful and, you know, for me, one of the best ways to actually, you know, handle your errors and stuff. And that is beautiful. So now that I know that I can get an error there, I can go now. So they have, let me remove this console like it was just system. I'm also going to get the error here. Okay. So if we have an error, we can actually show it somewhere. So maybe I can show it before this button. Let me say if we have an error, maybe we can do something cool, which is going to be to have like some sort of div here. And inside of it, actually, we're only gonna, if the error exists, if error exists, so if error exists like that, then what we have to do is, let's have a div. Can I have a div, please? Else I'm just gonna be null, so I'm not gonna return nothing. But inside this div, I can have like a paragraph with the text read like 400 or something, 400, and then please, what is going on? p.text, please read, and then 400 inside of it. Okay, it was hard just to type something. It was harder than the logic itself. And then we will show error here if we have an error. And now what we have to do, so we have this function here. So we have those data. I can now use dispatch. So I can go here, I go const dispatch, and then use dispatch like this. And then I can dispatch that action. So I can go here and to dispatch it, it was called, we just set user like this. So we have to send the, you know, data right here. So for now, we're going to send the data. So what I have to do, send this. And also I'm going to, because we didn't add the picture. So let me add it now as it's empty. Okay. Just go into the data and also send in the picture as empty. So it doesn't create a more type safety, even though she's in JavaScript. So, okay, that was quite work. So access is not defined. Okay. If it was just access problem, no problem. So I'm going to go to access and then import that. And I'm going to go back. All right. So let me refresh this and let's try. So actually I didn't do something. Maybe because we don't have any message. I want to directly redirect. So maybe I can redirect directly. Yeah. That's what I feel like I should do. And let me open Mongodb. Let me open. Okay, can I get that, please? Please. Can I MongoDB Atlas? Yeah. So I can open that and I have to go back to where do I want to go? Yeah, right here. And maybe after this dispatch, I can go const navigate and then equal use navigate from React router DOM so we can navigate after. So if everything is all right, I can actually navigate here. Okay, and simply this is going to be navigating, but I can do a test here. So simply if status is equal to succeeded, I hope this is how you pronounce it. I can just navigate. Let me just remove this and save. So if the status equals succeeded, I can copy that. You know, I know you might get bored, but it is a beautiful thing. It's a good experience. We're doing things beautifully. So now I have this MongoDB. Let me open that so I can see if it's been added. So, all right, let me zoom in a bit. Let me just go there to my WhatsApp and then users. So I have 6 documents. So I have 6 users. So I want it to be 7. So how we can do that? I gotta go back and just test this. So I'm just gonna go and actually test this. So let's call this and then .com, for example, and then the status either be happy, something like that. And then for the password, I'm just gonna try with some password. So maybe I'm just gonna go maybe, I don't know, to be honest, how to create a strong password, maybe something like that. I hope I even remember it. And now I need to sign up. So I sign up, it's waiting and it says, please fill all fields. All right. So what is going on? Do we have this? I think this is from the backend itself. And if you go back to my register, and then when we try to register, we have this create user. Where do I have this? Please. Okay, if there is no name, no email, and then no password, and it says that. Let me just see here. Yeah, it's returned 400. And what I can do is actually, I can actually go back to my controller and then console log the whole request of party and see what we get. So request, I'm not gonna use logger, okay, because it's not really important. Request of party, and let me send again. So sign up, and then let's see what I get. Okay, so I get, okay, so it's inside data. Yeah. So I have to actually, what I have to do is go back. I know where the problem is, don't worry. So when we send in the data, I need to spread the values of it like this. Okay, so this was it. And let me remove that console log there, because we thought we send in it directly, but I didn't spread the values. So now inside the objects, we'll get access directly to name, email. And let's try this. So I'm gonna click sign up, and I did. It's loading. It is done. And let me just see if there is some problem. Let me see. Okay, so you can see right here it's been done, everything is all right. And you can see in Mongoose right here we have the debugging mode that we talked about. As you will see in here, it's users.insert one, so we added something and it tell you all that you've added. So that is quite cool. That's why we're using debugging mode. If I refresh, there is the 7th and it is here. So what happened? It doesn't redirect us. And let me see, why isn't it? I feel like maybe the status didn't change. So let me actually go back. So I had to do a little bit of tests to actually decide what is the best way to fix this and to do this the right way. So let me show you how I'm going to do that. Let me remove the navigates for now. I'm going to define a response here. I'm going to wait for this to finish. So await dispatch, even though it says right here, or it has no effects, it actually does. Believe me, if you didn't use await, if you console log response, you're just going to get a promise. So you have to await. So console log response, and then make sure this function is asynchronous. So just to show you something, so if I went back, let's say for example I want to register and I use the same email that we used, so there is an error. Okay, so let me try it's something and then sign up. Okay, we get the error message right here, so everything is fine, and I get this. So what I get something in the payload. So I get the error which has the message rejected, and I get, meta that has the arguments that I've sent, okay, which is the data I've sent, everything. And then in the payload, I get the message which says, please try again with a different email address. But notice, so this is in the error phase, there is nothing going on, there's an error. But if let's say I use a data that is valid, okay, that means we will be able to register. Let me clear the console right here. Can I please clear the console somehow? Okay, thank you. So now if I signed up again, look what's gonna happen. I'm gonna get the same information, but in the payload, we're gonna get the message, which is register success, and also a user. Okay, so we know when the process, been done and fulfilled rightly, and there is no problems, it's gonna return a user in the payload. So when it's that, I actually then will redirect my user. That is the whole idea of doing this. So now I can check just simply here, because I tried to check with the status, and it just keeps like not doesn't get the new data that has been updated into the store, which is weird. So we're gonna do a test if response dot payload dot user exists, then simply we can navigate to the homepage this way. So yeah, this is just simply what I've done, and the user slice is what we had. So independent, we just set loading and also error to be, empty, or actually it's not necessary, maybe. Yeah, it's not necessary. I feel like it's not necessary, okay, because he'd say, no, I don't think so, because we actually change it right here. If it's, if there is an error, we also make it null here. So let's try this again. So now I'm gonna try, I don't know, let me try first of all. So can I close this, please? Okay, so let me try. So I'm just gonna try again, and let's try this random email that we never used, and then let's try this password, for example, and let me sign up. Okay, you see I get signed in here, and I have this information of the user in the store. I can actually just go now, for example, in my app, just for testing right now, I can say something like host, and then I will extract the user, and then we'll use the use selector, and in the use selector we're gonna go to the state, and simply we can just go and split the values of the state for now. All right, so we get everything. So if I went back to my application right now, and if I went to the aspect here, don't worry, we're gonna protect the rows and everything, but for now just go with me. So in the console, so this is the app. Okay, it doesn't wait. Okay, it didn't console log views. Okay, sometimes it can be so it's a common thing. So I have the user right now, and I have the informations. Okay, you can see the user, the informations, and also the access token. Right, so it is working. Some people prefer to add the token alone, which is also fine. I have no problems with this one. So now if we refresh this, so you see in the user is still here, no problem, as we already said that we're gonna preserve the data. Now let me go to the register, which shouldn't be accessible when logged in, but we're testing right now, so don't worry. So let me try again with like something that already exists. So we have an error. Just to test this again. And let's try this and then sign up, and you will see this is please try again with a different email address. This email address already exists. Okay, so the process of signing up or register is done in a good way, you could say. So we've done it. So next thing would be probably to do sign in, sorry, and then we probably will work also on things like protect routes, etc.